All right, guys. I know it's been a while since I've been live, but I decided to go live today. And I know the title of this live kind of changed a couple of times. And that was mostly due to, the unfolding of certain events. But I will try, inshallah, to wrap everything up into one thing, one little package, you know what I mean? And if you catch the replay, you catch the replay. And, if you decide to come in here, go ahead, come in, make yourself at home. Okay. Now, you know, a question really dawned on me. And I was just like, man, is this something that is, how should I put it? Is this something that is really the really the order of the day? I really was like deciding to myself, yo, is this really the order of the day? you know um it, and what I'm wondering is, like, do modern women, for example, do modern women, do they know how to function without dysfunction? I really just don't know at this point. uh at this point, um um so that's the thing. um I mean, because even in just like professional environments, like, for example, you've heard the situation with the cop, who pretty much, she wasn't for the streets, but she was for the whole, like, she was for a couple of blocks. She was for like maybe 5 blocks, right? And so eh, it's it's kind of like, I wonder, okay, what it's hard to like even explain, you know um about, like, how dysfunctional modern women are, and if they actually enjoy just functioning in dysfunction. Like, I really wonder if they're designed, if today's woman knows how to be peaceful, knows how to be civil, knows how to be just regular, relaxed, calm, cool, and collected. Like, if that even exists, is that even a thing anymore? You know. Um. Uh. eh, So, I want to. I want to basically cover some things and wonder if at all, if like, if basically women can function without w- without, like, can function without basically calm, cool, serene settings. I'm looking through a book right now, and so I'm trying to get I'm trying to get some information, you know. Just give me a moment. Give me 1 second. Okay, so um I'm reading a little bit about like just about, and I'll probably have to do another show in order to like finish it, but I'm looking through this book, and it has to do with kind of like the situation we're living in, you know. And believe it or not, I'm not going to lie to you. Um but in Islamic society, and like I guess you could say in 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 I guess contemporary um it, contemporary Islamic societies, like those societies like Umayyads and those kind of societies, um you know, the I guess you can say the I guess you could say that, you know, sexuality was kind of a big deal to them, but it was just contained in the bounds of marriage, you know. And of course, you know, we can also continue on and yeah, go into the fact that yes, polygamy was actually accepted as well, you know, in regards to marriage and what have you. Um, so, you know, I look at this situation, and you look at, for example, Islamic society, and although they, you know, I don't want to really use this word, but if we must use this word, you can kind of say that they were, I don't want to say like hypersexual, but you can tell that they were basically sexual. They were sexual. They were sexual people. Yeah. So with that being said, yes, they still were able to keep their society in relative order. You know, even if they had that, even if they had that kind of urge, you know, they were still able to keep it in order. But when you look at when you look at this society that we live in right now, forget about it. You know, please, it's it's out of control when it comes to that. Um, I mean, this book that I'm reading or glancing through, I'll have to spend time to actually read the book. But put it this way, all I'm going to say is that they really dug deep into this into this topic. But again, I say that they controlled it, unlike in this society, you know. Yeah, I'll probably have to read this book. I'll have to really like sit down and read this. But the thing is that when we look at women in pre-Islamic society, right? Women in pre-Islamic society, they were like just pretty much used as tools, like they were just pretty much doormats, right? Um, but the Prophet alayhi salatu salam, he uplifted that position of women. Um, and so, when he did that, what 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 they call feminism today, he was already having that. The Prophet already had that like going, you know, but not the militant misandrous feminism that we see today. He already had that in order for the women. You know what I mean? That's what needs to be said, right? So we look at that situation, right? We look at the situation that he uplifted the women in, you know, um, and we look at the situation that the women put themselves in right now, and you can kind of say that it reverts back to pre-Islamic age because of the simple fact that yeah, they're working now, yeah, they're doing things like that, but when it's all said and done, they're just being used as tools for number one, like big corporations. Number two, for you know, unfortunate for like the because like now I'm sorry to say it, but freaking at this point social media is so unhinged that you can practically show anything on it, and it provides the desired effect, right? um Now the thing is that you know Muslim women, especially Muslim women from uh the Western Muslim woman, is it seems like they don't like Islam, and they'll try to argue everything against Islam while still wearing a hijab and things like that. And it's like, okay, well, you say you're saying things that are contrary to Islam, but yet you're still trying to look the part. Now, you look at what it says about women, that women are complements to the men, and they play well defined roles, um and have undeniable status in family and society, you know but the key point here is that a woman is supposed to help a man and make life more cheerful and less unsettled, you know and it goes as far as to say, um that one of the like tafsir, the mufassirins of Quran, right? And this is how serious this is, right? This is how serious this is, and this is why me myself, I practice social fasting. You know, the reason why I myself practice social fasting is for that simple fact that this is a very serious affair. Okay, this is very serious, and what I mean is who you give your energy to when it comes to women. Okay, this is so serious. So you'll never hear me like pedestalize any women at all, but I will speak the facts on it. Okay, and the fact of the matter is that there was a verse in the Quran. It says, "Oh, Almighty, give us in this lowly world a good thing," and what that good thing is a virtuous woman. But the key word is virtuous. Okay, that's the main key word. When they say give us a good thing, it's a virtuous woman. It doesn't mean a woman with tattoos all over her body. It doesn't mean a woman with a septum piercing. It doesn't mean a woman with an imbalanced pH. It doesn't mean a woman with a body count that is like basically 3 football teams. Okay? Um so, you know, even the prophet, upon him be peace, he says something, okay? And this is very serious thing, because you know how they say it starts with the family. It does start with the family. Okay, it starts with the family. So it says that the prophet, upon him be peace, he said, protect yourself from the green patch that arises on the manure of the abandoned encampments. They asked him, what is this? What is it then? The beautiful woman who comes from a bad family environment. And how many of these do we see on social media right now? He also said something very serious, and this is why I take this serious. Like, people think I'm weird, people think I'm crazy, people think that, like, oh, you're just like, who hurt you, or oh, um you need therapy. Those talking points that they make, right? They try to use those crazy talking points, right? They try to always use those talking points against you. Okay, listen. Okay, here's the thing. Here is the thing. All right, he even said, this was even said, right? You gotta listen to what I'm about to say, because if he said this, right, We need to take heed. He said, alayhi salatu salam, choose the right womb for your sperm. For indeed, women bear children that are similar to their brothers and sisters. So that's pretty heavy. That is very, very heavy. Very, very, very heavy. That was said. Okay. Now, listen to this. This is heavy stuff. And I wish I had time to like maybe take notes on this, but I didn't even know I was gonna use this book. I had no idea. I have so many books, man, that certain I'm the type of reader that, one day I may have a book lying around and I just may pick it up and start reading it, like so it doesn't matter when I bought the book. Sometimes I'll have the book sitting for a while and then I'll decide to read it. But now here's the thing. She will raise kids, and if she is not well raised, what kind of role model will she be? All right? What kind of education can she give? These are very good questions because like let's say an Instagram model has a kid. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these Instagram models have kids. Like, what are they going to teach them? Like, what could they possibly teach them that's going to produce good, that's going to produce positivity, that's going to produce um a uh uh how should I say it? Like a citizen that's going to be of value to society. Like what is I mean, we have to like really ask ourselves that question, you know because yeah, man. You look at, for example, I hate to say it, you look at there's one model, Bernice Burgos. Yeah. um Bernice Burgos, she has a daughter, and I think her daughter has a daughter as well. So it's like, okay, like what what type of things does she offer to what kind of things does she offer to her daughter? And it's sad to say it, but she's pretty much taught her daughter the ways that of her, and it hasn't really produced any good results. You feel me? That's the thing about it. So yeah. So um we look at we look at for example, just give me a second. Just give me 1 second while I look at this more. Okay, so for example, So the thing is that we all know the nature of women. Like for the most part, most men understand the nature of women. They understand that, women are emotional beings. So we understand that we have flaws ourselves as men, but we also understand that we have to work on those flaws. But we also understand that, with women, we have to we have to endure their flaws, their characters, and overcome the difficulties in order to intentionally achieve legitimate gains and educate children. However, while this is true, if their flaws are being shown from the get-go, then yeah, they should be avoided at all times. For example, like if I'm just saying, I'll give you an example. Like you have the Saudi woman who's an OnlyFans model. Yeah, you would not want to marry her from the get-go. That's the flaw that you're like, no way, Jose. But like maybe I'm trying to give an example. Maybe a flaw may be that they may do something like that's kind of annoying. Maybe they do something like maybe they do something like poke at you or something like that, or maybe they like do something like they kind of like try to disturb you that like for example if you're playing your video games or something, like they disturb you when you're doing that, you know that should be something that should be overlooked, right? um Now, another thing too, here's the thing, right? Here's the big thing about it. One of the scholars, Al Ghazali, may Allah have mercy on him, you have to like endure, you have to tame your soul, and you have to avoid anger and embellishing the character. So when the man works for his wife and his children by taking care of their education, he performs this task. He performs a task worthier than him for him than what he accomplishes through ritual practices. So this is why we have to be choosy with the women, with our wives, with the type of wives we want. We can't like just say, for example, hey, I'm just gonna go out here and get a reform 304. We can't do that. Okay? For example, um I'll show this example soon. Um Brittany Renner. Like no traditional Muslim man or no traditional man who made something of himself in his right mind is going to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to settle down with Brittany Renner. It's not going to happen, you know, because she doesn't even have the qualities needed to even patiently endure, these things. Because with her, you're not just patiently enduring like just a woman's nature. You're patiently enduring the habits that she would have, which would make you look like a weak man. For example, posting, risque pictures of her on Instagram, wanting to go to the club, saying, okay, yeah, I'm still going to the club and I'm still living it up. And also looking for the next best thing, which she thinks she is entitled to, right? Okay. Now, here's another thing that needs to be said. And I know this is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I will say it still. I will still say this. And people, of course, are going to try to cancel me and things like that. But here's the thing as well. Okay. And this is a heavy point, and many people are not going to like this point, but I am going to make this point, right? Now, here's the thing. I've said this on previous videos before. Okay. I've said it on previous videos, right? Here's the thing. Now, and this was said, these are not my words, okay? These are what I am reading in this book verbatim. These are not my words. This is just what I am reading, okay? As per the qualities that make the conjugal life happy, and that we should consider with regards to his wife in order to live harmoniously with her, are many: faith, good character, beauty, modesty, fertility, virginity, and coming from a good family. So the thing is like, I'm gonna be honest, a man has more, like a man has more of a chance to reform himself from coming from a bad family, for example, than a woman does. Like, because by nature, men are survivors. Like, men are like hardwired to you know, roll with the punches. For example, there was this one Nigerian guy, and maybe I'll show the video of this, but he totally debunks the need of therapy and trauma, because like a lot of times what women do especially is they'll say, oh, I was put through trauma in my last relationship. But it's like, okay, but you were in your last relationship. That's the thing. You The thing is, there's when they say that they couldn't leave their last relationship, you didn't want to leave your last relationship. That's what that comes down to, you know. Now, okay, so if we were living in ideal circumstances, yeah, you would treat women nicely in ideal circumstances. But since we're not living in ideal circumstances, what has happened is, the Prophet alayhi salatu salam, he said a woman made was created from the curved portion of the rib. Uh and so if you try to straighten it, it will break. So feminism, this militant version of feminism, has straightened it so much that these women are beyond broken. And you let's be honest, if you have broken ribs, the only thing that's going to fix it is like a cast. And there ain't no cast for these women. you know um Now the thing is the prophet also said, and so this again explains the importance of like vetting a woman and just having a woman. Okay, this explains it. This shows how important this thing is. I'm telling you, it's telling you how very, very, very important this is. Okay, this is a very, very important thing, and people think that I'm tripping. Okay, I'm not tripping, bro. Listen, now the prophet alayhi salatu salam said the greatest gain for a man is a faithful woman who, when she sees him, she becomes happy and protects her property and her own honor in his absence. So, you compare this, for example, with Russell Wilson and Sierra. Does she protect her honor when he's playing football? Does she, look happy when she really sees him, or is it like a fake happiness? We have to ask ourselves those things. Now, here's another thing. As men, right? Uh as men, yeah, I try to do it. I know it sounds crazy, but when we go out into the world as men, right? We should have like, well, this is just what I think personally. As men, we should have like a solemn kind of like stoic disposition, right? That's what we should have as men when we're out and about in the world. But when we're at home, right? When we're at home, we should act like children. And that means, like, what we mean by that is we should be able to let our hair down. We should be able to, like, for example, this one Arab lady describes her husband. She said, I swear to God, he smiled when he was back home. He was quiet when he left. He ate what was served without worrying about what he eats. So, this is the thing. Like, and this is why it's so important for me, especially. It's very important. It's so, so important. And I hate to say it. Well, nah, I don't hate to say it. I actually don't hate to say it. Let me scratch that. But it's just American women and Americanized women, especially those from Africa. I don't know why they bought into this whole system. But the first generation African women decided, hey, the ways of their grandmothers, the ways of their great grandmothers wasn't good enough. So we had to follow masculine Moniqua, Lucentius Ling Ling, Casper Karen, and also Malbogia Maria and Malicious Maria. Um, they decided that that way was better, and they're getting the same exact results. And so that's why traditional African men, especially the Muslim ones, have left them the hell alone. Okay, now, um Umar, the second Khalifa in Islam, may Allah be pleased with him, um he said, contradict women, because contradicting them with them is a blessing. So, for example, you can listen to a woman, you can listen to her suggestions, right? But then you do what ultimately is right. You do ultimately what is best for the situation, but just still listen to them. Because if you listen to them, and I'm not talking about any woman. I'm talking about like women of that caliber. I'm not just talking about these women that you know we mention we mention right now. I'm not talking about those women. You feel me? Um, yes, I'm definitely not talking about that. Them, okay? I'm not talking about them. So now, um, so now, just give me a second, real quick. Um, you like in Islamic perspective, okay, when it comes to a woman, like your whole purpose of choosing a woman should be based on her character and based on what's inside her heart. And no, scratch that. From an Islamic perspective, of course we're gonna want a attractive woman or a good looking woman. We're gonna want that, right? But the main thing should be the religion, right? Um Now, the Prophet, alayhi salatu salam, this is very telling that, he cursed marriages based on passion or low calculations, and he blessed the rational marriages. Um, Now, when you look at the marriages in the West, what are the marriages on the West based on? What do most women want in a marriage in the West? They just want to lock down a dude's resources. They don't want to necessarily lock down what who the dude is. They want to lock down the dude's resources. For example, you have Angela Simmons, you know, and Yo Gotti, the Alpha Simp, right? You have some publications who say don't ever give up, right? You have some publications who actually are encouraging this kind of behavior, like, oh, don't give up the chase or anything like that. But the only reason why Angela Simmons is with um Yo Gotti, the Alpha Simp, is basically her attention dried up from the other guys that she was with, you know. So most marriages in the West are going to be cursed because they're based on just superficial things, which the prophet already cursed. Um, the prophet, upon him be peace, even went as far as to say, "Do not marry women on account of their beauty, for it's possible that this very beauty may become the cause of her destruction. Neither marry a woman because of their wealth, for it is possible this may be the reason for her rebellion and mischief. Rather, marry a woman because of their piety. A lowly slave girl, graced with piety and noble character, is infinitely superior to a beautiful high class woman of poor character." So this goes back into the plain Jane type dynamic. Like for me personally, I would okay, let me let me give an example. Um, let me give a real quick example. So there was this one girl at Big Five. Okay, she was this Asian woman, very soft smoke spoken, very soft spoken, very like soft, gentle voice. Um, and she was like, "Do you like?" She was helping me with the shoes and stuff like that. Her soft, gentle nature was more refreshing than this doctor, female doctor that I knew, who was masculine, who had, Mercedes, who, lived in the best part of town, who was a member of the high class gym Equinox. Her that woman in Big Five was more peaceful to me than that doctor. Okay. And so I say this because um all these boss babes and stuff like that, and all these like so quote unquote alpha females who think that th- that this is like really being peaceful, that they're, how should I put it, these alpha females, these boss babes who think that by being the way they are, which is hyper masculine, is actually something that's attractive, something that's peaceful, something that's appealing, is not, you know. And the prophet, may God have peace on him, said, that a woman should not be married for only her beauty, because her beauty may be destroy her, neither for her wealth, as this may make her tyrannical. So when you look at these women, they talk about like, oh, I'm paying for this, oh, I got this, oh, I got that, I got my Birkin bag, I got my Gucci, I got my Range Rover, and things like that. When you look at women who do that, and you look at their character, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be completely real. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be completely real with you. Okay. I have not met a woman who had a lot of money, who had like good, like a lot of money, that didn't have a bad character. I only knew one woman who had hella money but didn't have a bad character. I only knew one. Okay. She was a Belgian woman. She had a lot of money, but her character was quiet, chill, tranquil. You wouldn't even know she had the money. But I have not met one woman, okay, that did not have bad character, who had a lot of money. All the women who I encountered, all the women who I have seen, all the women who, these boss babes and stuff like that, have had bad character when they have either A, had a lot of money, or B, have gotten into a position of authority. Um, Now, uh, here's another thing. The prophet, upon him be peace, said, the best of wealth is a righteous woman who pleases her husband when he sees her. She obeys whenever he commands her, and when her husband is absent, she protects her chastity and respect. So the thing is this. Me personally, I would do my best if I was married right now, um, and to my future wife, inshallah. I'm not going to tell her anything that's detrimental to her. I'm not going to tell her anything that is going to jeopardize her well-being. So like for example, if I'm telling her, "No, you're not hanging out with those friends." Okay? Those friends are single, those friends are bitter, those friends will don't mean anything good for you. Okay? You're not going to hang out with them. And I'll suggest, why don't you hang out with your married friends instead? Why not do that? It's for her benefit. I'm not going to just tell her that just because, you know? So the prophet also said, um, let one of you let one of you acquire a thankful heart, a tongue that remembers Allah, and a believing wife who will help you with regard to the hereafter. Umar ibn Khattab said, may God be pleased with him, he said, no man can have anything better than faith for a woman of righteous character, loving and childbearing. And no man can have anything worse after blasphemy than a sharp tongued woman of bad character. So if this, so just imagine, okay? Just really listen to me. I want you guys to really listen to the replay, okay? Um, just kind of imagine. And I know I'm gonna sound cruel or something like that, but just imagine. Just imagine like getting a woman, for example, getting a woman like let's just say Lisa Ray. Like just imagine getting a woman like Lisa Ray who has a sharp tongue and really just has bad character. Imagine getting a woman like Gabrielle Union, okay, who, in my opinion, Deliver Us from Eva is art imitates life, and just having a bad character in the terms of like how she's home wrecked, how she served as a home wrecker. You know, like what I mean? Like just keep that in mind. You know, just really keep this in mind when it comes to dealing with these th- with these women here. Okay, just imagine having any. Imagine having a woman like Mia Khalifa. Okay, like just I know it sounds bad, and people, and modern women will say, "Oh, they can change and stuff like that," but the damage has already been done. Okay, the damage has already been done, and I'm just, maybe I'll go for 45 minutes more, but I'm just gonna see if modern women know how to function in a peaceful environment, in a like just basically a regular just peaceful environment, or are we just going to see them as what they really are, you know? So according accordingly, this is what the pious man can suggest to obtain personal inner care. This asset does not require many women. Instead, their plurality sometimes ruins the prosperity and brings disorder to a household. No, I mean, like Yeah, I can see the point that, in terms that, one woman can be enough, but um let's be honest, if the wife is really pious, she will accept another woman, and the reason that being that, she would want to obey God, and part of obeying God is just uh you know following Sharia. And part of the Sharia is that, hey, polygamy is permitted. Now, I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this, okay? I want you to listen. And then we'll go into some videos after I read this portion, you know. And I'll probably have to do is refer back to I'll probably have to refer back to this book and like take notes. I'll have to probably read this book I'll have to read this book and then take notes and do another live on this book. I'll probably have to do that, which I will probably do in like maybe next month, inshallah. Inshallah, I think I'll make it a point to do that next month, inshallah. Yeah, inshallah, I'll see to do that, inshallah. Now, um, it was reported by Asma bint Kharija al Fazari that she said to her daughter on the occasion of her wedding day, "Oh, my daughter, you are now departing from the environment where you live and the nest where you grow up to an unfamiliar home and companion. By virtue of your husband's custody, he is now a watcher, a master over you. So be a good maid to him. He will surely be your servant." Bingo. So be a good maid to him. Surely he will be your servant. So, what the Western women fail to understand, and what the westernized Muslim women fail to understand, is that the more you do for a man, the more that he will be willing to do for you. But they forgot all about that. Well, they never knew it to begin with. So that's the problem. So she goes on to say, "Be content in his company, listen and obey him, as contentment brings peace of mind, and listening to and obeying your husband pleases Allah. Make sure that you smell good and look good. He should not see anything ugly in you, and he should not smell anything but a pleasant perfume from you. Be careful, O my daughter, not to show joy in front of him when he is upset, and do not show sorrow when he is happy, because the former shows a lack of judgment, while the latter will make him unhappy." So when you look at these females today, like, I hate to say it, but a lot of them do have odor problems, and that has to do to with the simple fact that, like, with these different types of movements that they're following and these social media trends that they're following. So that's the main issue. And also their tattoos, which, believe it or not, a lot of them have tattoos, bro. A lot of them have tattoos. A good wife should stay in her private apartment. She should not stay too long in the balcony to reduce the number of looks that she can get. She should exchange a few words with the neighbors, keep her husband's interests in mind, constantly looking to make him pleased through her behavior, and never deceive him. Her ultimate concern is to get better and to manage her household. She should also take care of her ritual duties. She should also safeguard her health in order to please her husband uh, and please him. She should look affectionate towards her children, make sure to protect them, withhold her language as much as she can from scolding or opposing her husband. The best role for a woman is the care and education of her children. She should not show pride in her beauty, humiliate her husband. She should engage in all the domestic work as thoroughly as possible. It should be avoided to cause the least trouble to her husband. All this summarizes the Islamic thinking and the mentalities of errors regarding middle aged women, and it was resumed by Ghazali in his famous Ihya Ulum al Din, especially in his book pertaining to good practices in marriage, in which he refers to the two largest sources of religion, the Quran and the tradition. It is reported, according to Mu'agabo, that the Prophet alayhi salatu salam said, whenever a woman causes annoyance and pain to her husband in this world, her mate from among the houris of paradise would say to her, may Allah ruin thee, do not cause thy husband annoyance, for he is only thy guest and will soon leave to join us in paradise. So, and a lot, of course, I don't expect non-Muslims to believe in that, but you look you look at the importance that our way, which pretty much it aligns up with the traditional African way, you look at the importance of choosing a woman. You look at the importance of that woman's character. You look at the importance of that woman's like her history and her past. And you understand why, for me personally, why I'm in monk mode, you know. And the thing is, I got actually the nickname, uh, I got the nickname from uh the monk from one of my favorite rappers. His name is Ab Liva. um Believe it or not, he has actually let me see if his nickname is still there actually. Well, actually, this pretty much describes, you know, he actually in a way live laid the blueprint. um Let me see if I can actually find it for y'all to hear. you know I think I maybe can find it. Hold on just a minute. Maybe I can find it.
He's too laid back. Just don't talk enough.
Okay.
Him over there, that's Lava. Pharrell calls him the monk. I call him the chosen one. Some say he's too laid back. Just don't talk enough. Really, he ain't laid back at all. He just don't deem you motherfuckers worthy enough for hearing what the fuck he gotta say. What an asshole, right?
So I kind of like feel the same way. Like I know this sounds, that's why I'm mostly quiet outside of outside of this space, outside of my house. Like I'm mostly quiet. And the reason that being is that, like, bro, like I don't think anybody wants to hear what I have to say in this society. Like people aren't gonna want to hear about, like, for example, like people don't want to hear about like the things that my interests, like I hate to say it, but modern women don't want to hear about like scuba diving. Modern women don't want to hear about boxing. Hell, modern men don't want to hear like a lot of modern men don't want to hear about boxing or scuba diving or maybe like traveling or like just different types of things like that I'm into. Like so that's why I stay quiet because like, at the end of the day, like they're not gonna they're not gonna they're not gonna want to hear about these things. So um without further ado, let's see if women can like the modern woman can actually function in a regular like a regular setting, like or they just inherently um attracted to chaos. So let's look at this. Let's look at this example right here. So her question was, why is it that uh men don't date strippers? And I'm pretty sure there's some simps that will date strippers, but the question was, here's the question that she should have asked. Why doesn't a certain type of man date strippers? Because I'm pretty sure there will still be dudes who are gassed up by the looks who will date you. It's just that again, you don't want those guys. So I don't think there's men like me in those strip clubs because like men like me are probably like doing something else or like just pretty much minding their own business, and rather use money, on more conducive things to what they have in mind. Uh like, books, like investments and just like different things that like maybe they want to get into like hobbies and stuff like that. Okay, so she has now I don't know how many how much money that was, but um I'm pretty sure, with all like they say, not all money is good money, you know. But let's continue. Shout outs to Charles in Charles Podcast Reacts too. Check out his channel. But again, this goes to show that, like I said before, I don't think they can function without um I don't think they can function without like chaos because you know I would think like an emotionally centered woman would want to um not be in the club and not be, showing her body off or not be wanting to do those type of things. But it looks like with, the current circumstances we're in right now, it seems like that's the thing that you know, that hates to say it, but that, you know, they're trying to avoid for some reason. So this is how you know the school system has failed them too. I think she meant to say obligations, but she said obligations. So this is how you know, like, things are like, they're pretty backwards right now. You know what I mean? It's pretty backwards, you know. But let's continue. Hey, here we go. Here we go. Um, Not really. I mean, the only people who would do that is like dudes who obviously they're really not taking though that women serious, you know. That's the thing, you know. That's the thing. So now let's get into this some more. Um so here's the thing, okay? Um if a woman, for example, if a woman is like, let's just say a woman is, say a woman is a librarian, right? She's in a committed relationship. She pleases God. Do you think I'm going to call that woman a 304? The thing is that, you know, any self-respecting man is not going to have skid marks in his underwear. But since of course this woman can't function, the thing is, that's crazy. I don't even think these women like cleanliness. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think a lot of these women don't even like cleanliness. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. Um, yeah, because like maybe the guys that she dealt with have skid marks, but we're taught to wash our butts. We're definitely taught to wash our butts. That's the thing. We're we're taught to wash our butts, right? But let's continue. So 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 what I'm saying is that like people are gonna uh pe- people are people are going are women. I don't think they just know how to function without without just chaos, you know. That's the thing. Like I just don't really think it's in them to function without chaos, you know. um and I'll take another example, you know, I'll take more examples, you know, but I really don't think that like um that they can function without chaos, you know. I mean, yeah, it's sad to say it, but I really hate to say it, but like, yeah, like for me personally, I really believe, and I know this sounds crazy, but I really believe that like things like birth control, things like the alcohol, things like the weed, things like the plan B, I think those kind of things just make them dysfunction. Like I just think that those kind of things add to the dysfunction. The fact that they have like multiple partners add to the dysfunction, because like let's be honest with ourselves, it's easier for a woman to sleep with a guy than it is for a guy to sleep with a woman. All the woman has to do is show up, you know what I mean, pretty much. um Unless and even when you have, for example, like Drake or something like that, if Drake wasn't Drake, the Drake we know today, you know, the Drake with the hundreds of thousands of hit records, then he couldn't just show up somewhere and a woman would be like, oh, let's go. It would be like, oh shoot, that's Drake. That's what would have to happen, you know. All right, so now just give me a minute. All right. So now the Brittany Renner example comes to mind. Just a minute. Okay, let's see. Now, shout out Sadiq Underground. He actually is a good content creator. So you know, eh, okay, again, cannot function without dysfunction. Let's look. You know what's odd too? I think women actually like to cry. I actually think like women like to cry, like at least Western women, they like to cry, you know. Because again, the drama that they welcome into their life, it's just something for some reason they like dysfunction here. I don't know why they like dysfunction, but they just like it. It's weird to me. It's actually weird to me that they they like it for some reason. It's weird. So so you okay, on one side you see her crying and things like that, but then this is actually happening, and this was actually a recent video that happened with her. This is recent. I'm sorry to say it. Listen, a club when people say, like, for example, people say like, okay, we're going to a function, but I'm sorry to say it, but a club is anything but functional. It's dysfunctional. I'm a fan of music, okay, but I like music when it usually has a purpose, has a meaning. The only meaning that music has in the club is to get people wild up. I mean, let's be honest. They're not going to play Raekwon in the club, or they're not going to play like a guy who has something to say in a club. Okay, they're not going to say that. They're not going to play that in a club. You know what I mean? So that's what comes down to it. That's what it comes down to. Okay. So this is her. Okay. This is her, right? A couple of months ago talking about, yeah, I did this, I did that. But then on this side is her actually in the club doing, what we known her to do, the things we've known her to do. Yeah, you can shut up. You can shut up about that. I don't even want to hear about that. Okay, two tours in Afghanistan. Okay, and she's talking about the US soldiers. Maybe you should be talking about the Afghan people and what they experienced. Okay? But let's continue on. Okay, here we go. Well, to a certain degree for well, not for women. Like, so I disagree with what Pearl says right there, then and there. For Western women, hell no. Hell to the no. Like for a Western woman, hell to the no, because a lot of what like the majority of Western women aren't spiritually inclined. So I'm gonna say no way, Jose, when it comes to like that being when it comes to spiritual unification. I'm gonna say no way, Jose, on that note, because of the simple fact it's not spiritually inclined for them. As a matter of fact, sex has become like somewhat of a like as I guess you can say is as s- like breathing. It's almost like breathing to them now, you know? All right. So now, so now, like, there's something I want to mention about Brittany Renner. Hold on, let me see. Okay, now speaking of which, let's see how they're not like how 304s and quote unquote reform 304s can't function without dysfunction. Uh let's take the example of Karen Steffens right now. So she's hypothetically speaking, this I hate to say it, but this guy is kind of just looking at her and not even um how should I put it? He's not checking her. He's not disagreeing with her when that's exactly what he should be doing is disagreeing with what she's saying. Oh my god. Okay. Let me clear myself up. But I guess Karen Steffens doesn't understand that, like, um, you know, hypothetically speaking, right? Um, let's try to use her logic, right? Since the clut has been around the block and things like that, and you decide you're going to marry her, what's your chances of pleasing her when she's pretty much seen it all and done it all? What I mean, like, let's be honest. Like, what are going to be your real? What's going to be like your real chances of actually like doing something for her versus you having a virgin, or you possibly having someone with little experience that you can, um how should I put it, take them to some places that they would enjoy, that they maybe haven't had the opportunity to go before, that they would want to go back to more often than not. And also, having the benefit of her maybe telling you, hey, this is kind of like what I like and things like that, you know. But let's listen to Miss Karen Steffens. Shout outs to Dating Right too. I don't think Dating Right is a dating coach, by the way. Thankful for that. Shout outs to him. Well, my mom wasn't. I can speak for my mom. She wasn't doing all the things. She just married my dad, and then that was that. I think she married my dad when she was like 19. Yeah, 19 or 20, she married my dad, you know. And then that's when she started doing all the things. But she was doing all the things with him. That's the whole situation. She was doing all the things with him. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that's where that starts at. Now look at um let's look at another situation which I don't think women know how to function without dysfunction. see. So what what I want to say is this. This is one thing I want to say. Okay, this is one thing I want to say. Um Women, like, unfortunately, women have been given so much power to argue with men, be argumentative to men. They honestly feel like honestly feel like it's normal. They actually feel like it's normal to just argue, be combative with women or with men. You know, they try to they just feel like it's normal. You know, they feel like it's just normal. They feel like basically arguing with men, going back and forth with men is something normal when really it's not normal at all. And so this is why me personally, I practice this is why like me personally, I practice um uh which one call it, I practice social fasting when it comes to modern women. Yeah, when it comes to American women, Western women, I try to talk to them as least as possible. I try my best to talk to them as least as possible. As a matter of fact, in my building, there was this one old woman. She was kind of old woman. She asked me, Is that your car?" And at first I was about to answer her, but I straight out ignored her because chances are, like, I believe she was under that feminist ideology as well. Like, it's gotten to that point where I will straight out ignore them if they try to talk. I know that's messed up. I know that's pretty like low blow and thing like that, but like it's at that point where it's like a safety mechanism for me, to do that. But let's look at this. So I guess there's this new trend now where in there's this thing called Feral Girl Summer. And what that means is that they're they're you know they're wanting to be unhinged. They're wanting to be wild, unkept. Now, let's look at this and see what this entails, okay? So so again, I say I've said it before, I said it again, that that when women do things, yeah, when women do these dysfunctional things, yeah, for some reason it comes back on us that it's our fault, and we had nothing to do with it, because a lot of times a lot of us have checked out already. Like many of us have checked out of this, you know. Many many of them, many of us have checked out, you know. um so what I'm saying is this. Let me see if I can actually find it. See if it's up here. See. Okay, I think this is her. Let me see. So, you look at this situation and you see that, like, okay, like, why wouldn't you shave your chest hair? Like, why wouldn't you just shave it? Like, why wouldn't you just do something that makes sense? But instead, you're, again, uh, and I wonder if there are any women left in the West who don't desire attention and will not do anything for attention. You know what I mean? I wonder if that exists still, but I seriously doubt it. Women that have beards. You heard that, right? Okay. So, you know, let me try to keep this as PG as possible. So, according to her logic, yeah, that means that as a Muslim man and as a traditional African Muslim man who tries, what he can do in regard, like in our current circumstances that we're living in right now, that means I should um stop shaving the parts that need shaving, since the parts that need shaving, they grow back. It grows back, right? But the reason for shaving them is to be for clean hygienic practices. That's in essence kind of what she's saying. That, oh, just disregard it, even if because they grow back anyway. That's what she's suggesting. Okay, so you know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unfortunately has turned them into men, because that's what they wanted to be. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he took it a step further and he said, say less. Like if you don't want to be on the fitra, you know, we'll we'll take you off. So you see, yes, there are women with beards. This is crazy, but you know, yeah, yeah, this is trippy. This is horrible. Now here goes to show you. This actually goes to show you that women. Okay, because here's the thing. I want to take it a step further. Let me take it a step further, okay? Let me take it a step further. Men usually have to deal with dysfunction. I mean, hell, men go to war. Let's be honest, the war with Russia and Ukraine, that's dysfunction. Yes, there's strategy and things like that, but there's you know, it's dysfunction, unfortunately. But um this goes to show you that like women are attracted to chaos, and that women don't even want men to handle chaos. They want to be part of chaos. But here, like, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, here we go. So, Bridget Gabriel. So Bridget Gabriel, she's one of these feminists. She she's one of these feminist women, right? Um, and and uh and so like again, she gets off being combative. I think she's like Lebanese or something like that. I believe she's like Lebanese, if I'm not mistaken. But she gets off, she's combative, and and especially she's against Islam. And so y- you know we have to take this into consideration with this next one. So again, and I'll probably end on this note. You can see that, like, for example, like, because honestly, I'm gonna be honest, like when women are covered, it there is kind of like a psyche that, maybe even if that woman is maybe even if that woman is westernized and stuff like that, is like does the things of the Wicked Witch of the West, you know, she's covered, but you're like, okay, well, even if she, her being covered is still, you understand, like, still, you still kind of look at her with some respect. So her, she's saying it's going backwards. So she's saying that modesty, like having modesty, is going backwards, right? So again, um, how can I explain this? But if there's something very precious, right? For example, my passports. Okay, I'm gonna be. I'll use that as an example. My passports. I only carry my passports around when I'm going to travel. Okay, I'm not gonna just like walk around with my passports out in the open because they are very important to me. Okay. And by no means am I comparing a woman to passports, but it's just something that I don't show out in the open like that. And so this is how I would look at my wife too, is that my wife is precious, therefore I don't want her to be out in the open like that because she's precious. Usually something that's precious and maybe something that is rare, you kind of tend to keep, you know, well protected, right? So I mean, again, um, and it's kind of rare to find here though, even ones who claim that they're Muslim, but like when you see these kind of things, yeah, and when you see that kind of rhetoric from that woman, it just goes to show you that what is she really used to? Dysfunction, chaos. So, and then again, when you look at it, there's a lot of like Muslim women in this, like I would say the cool majority of Muslim women in this country are like attracted to dysfunction and things like that, even when they wear hijab. So that just goes to show you that again, there's some kind of innate attraction to these kind of things for some reason. But let's listen. I'm gonna be honest, like I really don't follow him, but like when you really look at the Western country, like Western people will still say this is a Christian nation. You'll have Western women say, I believe in God, I'm a spiritual person, and things like that, but they're complete opposite of that, you know. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I think I'll wrap it up. And those who catch the replay will catch the replay. But yeah, I don't I'm at the opinion that women can't function, like modern women can't function in like peaceful circumstances. But there may be a part two to this video, to this live stream. But anyhow, for those who catch the replay, like and subscribe. Thank y'all for coming in. Foolish signing out. SYSMB. Save yourself, Muslim brother. And I'm off until the next one. Unjar